What's up, YouTube? Poor Hunter here again. A little recap from the last video. My wife started hunting with us this last year, so I had to buy her some new hunting stuff and stopped in at Walmart since it's the off season and found her a nice pair of camo pants for about $7. So keep that in mind. Off season is a good time to buy the hunting clothes. I wanted to talk about today is using the right tool for the job. Now, depending on what you are hunting, choosing that tool can be a little difficult depending on what size or caliber you're looking at. If you're hunting for small game or birds, shotgun's always what you need. For saving money, I would go with a 20 or 12 gauge. You can usually pick up a decent 20 or 12 pump action shotgun for around $180. I know they're about $182 at Walmart right now. And it doesn't have to be a pump action. You can always use a single shot. Doesn't have to be a super expensive over under. Just if you're looking to save money for hunting, just get what you need. And with a shotgun, you only really need one gun. You can squirrel hunt with it. You can rabbit hunt, pheasant, duck, geese. You can hunt deer with it, shooting rifled slugs. Rifled slugs are pretty cheap. You can usually get a box of 5 for around $6. So keep that one in mind. Very cheap to shoot. You can get a lot of practice out of it. Moving on to rifles. There's a lot of different rifles, sizes and calibers that you can get for deer hunting. Personally, for saving money's sake, we use 223 and 308. It is fairly inexpensive to practice with both of those. Ammo's cheap. 308's around $20 for targets, and around 25-ish for hunting rounds. 223's around 10 to $12 a box for target rounds, and probably around the same price for decent deer rounds. I buy 68 grain hollow points for my rifle, which I'll get into why in a second here. But they're around, I think, $16 for a box of hollow point rounds for my 223. Some people think that a 223 is too small to hunt with. Every single rack on the back wall here behind me has been shot with a 223. It is a very nice round. There are downsides to it. One being there is no exit wound. But because of where we hunt, that is necessary to not leave an exit wound because we're on the top of a hill. So we use the 223 for cross hill shots so that we don't have bullets flying past our target. Now, with that, you only leave one entrance hole, and it's a small hole, so there's not a big blood trail. So you want to be conscious of your target and where you're shooting it. Most of the deer on the back wall here were shot with heart shots. Even with a heart shot, a deer can run for quite a ways. So usually, this last year, we've been shooting them in the neck. And with a neck shot, they'll drop like a sack of potatoes. So another thing you want to think about if you're using a small caliber like a 223, be conscious of the grain of the bullet and the barrel twist. Heavier grain bullet works better in a 1x9 twist. I was having some accuracy issues with mine, and I was shooting my wife's, and I had her rifle sighted in at 50 yards and had a 1-inch grouping. And then I was shooting the same 55 grains out of my rifle, and I had a 3-inch grouping. So I was trying to figure out why that was, and I watched a few videos and realized that it is the barrel twist. Hers is a 1x7, mine's a 1x9. So I did some research on it and started using a heavier grain bullet, a 68 grain hollow point, and shrunk that grouping down to a 1-inch grouping at 50 yards. So that's another thing to be conscious of. Again, the 308s are nice. And it doesn't have to be an AR that you hunt with. For a 223, um, my kid started out with a single shot 223, and he dropped a deer that first year he hunted with it. So it doesn't have to be a super expensive AR or anything like that. You can find something single shot, fairly cheap. Other calibers you can use that aren't super expensive. 30-06s really aren't that bad, um, but with a 30-06, you got to be conscious of the distance you're shooting. We shoot about 50 yards max because the deer get that close where we shoot. So 30-06 is a little bit too much. The bullet's moving too fast, doesn't cause a lot of damage in that short distance. So my neighbor that hunts with us, he uses 30-06. He's got plenty of deer with it, but good majority of the time he's had to shoot it multiple times because the bullet was just burning right through the deer. 308's got a good impact. I started hunting with old Mosin Nagant from World War II. That's a 7.62 by 54R. It's closer to a 308, but it's got a lot of knockdown, especially at short ranges. Worked really good. You used to be able to buy them for around $90 a piece. Now they're around like $400 to $500 a piece. So those get a little more expensive. Ammo is still fairly cheap, but it's hard to find now, where back then it wasn't. So another thing to be conscious of when you are looking to save money on your hunting rifle is ammo availability. We kind of got over the ammo shortage. We're seeing a lot of stuff come back around here, but there's still a lot of ammo out there that is hard to find, and some of it is still extremely expensive. The 308 that we shoot and the 5.56, we used to be able to buy, or not 5.56, but 223, used to be able to buy those for around $6 a box for target shooting. 308 was around 12 to $15 a box. Now, it's 20 for the 308 target rounds. 30-06s, I think that one's around $30 a box. 243 I would think is fairly cheap, and I've heard really good things about that as a hunting rifle. 7mm 08 I've heard good things about, but ammo availability is another thing to think about. 30-30 is a really great round for deer hunting. Again, these firearms can get kind of expensive, so keep your eyes out at used sections at gun store or big box gun stores, or the smaller gun shops that do sell used guns. You can find some for a decent price. Pawn shops are a good place for that. You can actually get a decent rifle, and like one of the pawn shops I go to around here, they have layaway, so that makes it a little bit easier on the pocketbook. I can pay, a little bit one week, a little bit the next week. Generally on Fridays on payday, but that makes it a lot easier. I bought my son a 308 rifle this year, and that's what I did. Bought it for his birthday and had to pay a little bit here and there through the year until I got it paid off, but that is an option. Gun shows, good place to find decent hunting rifles. Sometimes they get kind of overpriced with the guys selling them, but you can sometimes find a decent hunting rifle or shotgun at gun shows for a good price. So keep those in mind. And whatever's around you, I guess just look around, shop around. If you're looking to save money on guns and you're looking for a quality gun, try to take somebody with you that knows firearms if you don't. Because unfortunately, a lot of times you are dealing with salesmen. I've been to a couple places around here. I just happened to be at a Dunham's looking at different stuff, looking what they had. Sometimes they have decent sales, sometimes not, but I always check there just in case. And a lady was in there. She had bought a 38 special revolver, and the person that was selling the gun to her sold her some ammo with it. Well, I don't know if he wasn't paying attention or he didn't realize what he was dealing with, but he gave her some 380 shells. And so she fired them. Some didn't go off, some did. And if you're putting the wrong ammo in the wrong gun, that can be extremely dangerous. So I advised her, because they have a no return policy on firearms, even though the seller made the mistake. I advised her to get that gun looked at before she shot it again by a good gunsmith. So just be careful of that. You might run into people that they're just trying to make a sale. They don't know a heck of a lot about what they're talking about. So if you don't know guns and you're trying to get into hunting, take somebody with you that does and can help you out in that department. So it's kind of all I got for saving money on guns. Just keep your eyes out if you're looking to save money on that stuff. There are good deals out there. There's a lot of websites online you can look at. We have Arms List. I check on there for decent deals. I've bought a couple of guns off of there from private sellers, and at a good price, and they were good working guns. I've never had a problem with them. So just use the right tool for the job, whatever you're hunting, and be safe. Make sure you're using the right ammo and the right gun, and do your best to save what you can and put more meat in the freezer, because that's the most important part. The saving money part on hunting and using what you got, that's putting food on the table. That's all the important things to keep in mind. So hope any of this information helps. If you like, comment, subscribe, do all the fun YouTube stuff, and I'll see you next time in another video. And I'll still be poor, but I won't be hungry.